Usage Scenario 1. Single-layer network with IP surveillance solution. In the following slides, we will introduce the first usage scenario and talk about how to implement and configure the auto surveillance network. Usage Scenario 1 is auto surveillance VLAN generic deployment. It's a single-layer switched network with IP surveillance solution, as shown in the diagram. In this usage scenario, we have a D-Link Smart 3 switch as a central hub, aggregating D-Link network cameras, a network video recorder, NVR, or a VMS server for video recording. Here, we use NVR. A VMS client for remote playback, and for live view and the office network with user computers connecting to Smart 3 switches. By the way, the DHCP server, which currently exists in the user's network environment, is for dynamic IP address assignment to client computers. Simply power on the Smart 3 switch, log in to the Smart 3 switch web management console to enable the auto surveillance VLAN feature, and connect all components to it, and you are done. NVR and D-Link network cameras are added to auto surveillance VLAN with high priority. No configuration is required. You only need to enable the auto surveillance VLAN feature. By default, the auto surveillance VLAN feature is disabled. To enable the feature, first log in to the Smart 3 switch. Open your browser. Input the Smart 3 switch management IP address to bring up the Smart 3 switch web management console. The default management IP address of the Smart 3 switch is 10.90.90.90. Configure your PC IP address properly in order to connect to the management IP address, and log in to the main page using the default password admin. Click the Exit button to skip the Smart Wizard. Click Configuration, and click Auto Surveillance VLAN in the left pane. In the right pane, click Enabled, and click Apply to activate Auto Surveillance VLAN feature for the Smart 3 switch. After enabling the Auto Surveillance VLAN, here we connect D-Link network cameras to port 2 and port 3 of the Smart 3 switch, and NVR to port 10. Let's verify the configuration of the auto surveillance VLAN of the Smart 3 switch. Let's go back to the Smart 3 web management console. In the right pane, you can see that D-Link network cameras and NVR have priority settings set to high by default, and are recognized by the Smart 3 switch as D-Link surveillance device off port 2, port 3, and port 10, as shown in the auto surveillance VLAN summary table. For some other devices which are not supported by auto surveillance VLAN, such as a user laptop, other network cameras, etc., if you want to add those user-defined devices to auto surveillance VLAN, you have to add its MAC address in user-defined MAC settings. In this usage scenario, we have a PC as the VMS client connected to port 5 of Smart 3 switch. In the PC command prompt window, use ipconfig/all to obtain the PC's MAC address. Go to Auto Surveillance VLAN Settings page of the Smart 3 switch. In User-Defined MAC Settings, select VMS Client/Remote Viewer as the component type. Input a description. It's an optional step. And input the MAC address you got from PC's ipconfig/all command. You can also input OUI to include a range of MAC addresses. Then press the Add button, and you will see the manually configured VMS client in the table below. Verify the result in the Auto Surveillance VLAN Summary table. You will see that the VMS client is recognized by the Smart 3 switch. Now, the user-defined VMS client is added to Auto Surveillance VLAN. It has priority setting set to high. In the above, we introduced the first auto surveillance VLAN usage scenario and how you can implement and configure its network.